Step back much more. Don't follow eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, mind. Stepping back, disengage from itself completely, thoroughly. Keep on opening the gates of perceptions as usual. This will affect altogether, internally, externally. There will be extinction simultaneously, purifying through Nirodha and Nibbana altogether. Stepping back without grasping for the non-attachment thoroughly. Disengage from itself. This will dissolve itself. Itself is the delusive attachment, maintaining, ongoing maintaining, and sinking is an obstruction, obstructing oneself. Discarding on its own, letting go on its own. However, keep eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind opening. There will be effects for both internal and external simultaneously. Stepping back, let go is on its own. Non-attachment is on its own. Stepping back, no grasping is on its own. That which is boundless. This will bypassing the grasping or not grasping without traces. Whether it is mother side, father side, Thailand, Laos, if there are karma among one another for so many, how many Buddha eras have passed through words, thoughts, and actions in all cases of karma, through desire, delusion, delusive attachment, creating karma without the conclusion of Nirodha and Nibbana, without purification of the emptiness, the same as the Mahaparami, creating obstruction among one another for all realms of existence, for all Buddha eras. May it be ahosi, ahosi, ahosi. Any great blessed fortunes, it is the part of the unobstructed by Nirodha and Nibbana, which has been used for blessing. May all beings in all realms of existence be part of these forever. Let's bless completely and fully. Share the great perfection completely. Let's not be nonsense, not be obsessed with the nonsense. Completely share the great compassion simultaneously with everything, with the essence of letting go on its own. No grasping on its own. With this, it will be purifying through Nibbana, through the emptiness. All the karma will be ended continuously. The samudaya, the cause of suffering, will be ended continuously. We have been born. If there are only karma and its retribution is not good, the effect of karma is the unbearable. Whether it's good or bad, it's just the effect which is unbearable. Even good karma, which seems to be like happiness, is not truly happiness. Everything is anicca, dukkha, anatta. There is just dukkha, suffering. There is no such thing as happiness. The suffering is less. That's why it seems like the comfort is there. Suffering that is subtle, neutral, and intense. This is all about suffering with everything. there is no real happiness or comfort, less suffering. That's why it seems to be happy or comfortable. Actually, it's all unbearable suffering. Whether it's good karma or bad karma, the effect is still suffering. Suffering that is there. Therefore, let's purify through the emptiness for all types of karma, so that all karma will be purified itself. They say that it's impossible to purify karma. That is because they don't know how to purify through the emptiness, through nothingness. Karma actually is anicca in itself, and its result is also anicca, is impermanent in itself. And it's also anatta, which is meaningless. Even no one corrects itself, still it corrects itself by itself on its own in its nature. However, the domination of the delusion that is added within karma will further creating more karma. It has to be by the conclusion of Nirodha and Nibbana, purifying further. Then karma will be corrected truly, ended truly. Therefore, everything has to be concluded by the non-attachments. With everything simultaneously, non-grasping, no fixation to the non-attachments. Let's use this as a reminder. Step back to disengage from itself thoroughly. Non-attachment without grasping itself. Stepping back to not grasping for the non-attachment itself simultaneously with everything, then there will be liberation of suffering altogether. This is not about using the mind towards all things. What is given here is not the mind. When we use something that is not mind, there will be purification of the emptiness thoroughly. No grasping for the non-attachments thoroughly. Stepping back. Then there will be purification of the extinction and the emptiness. All the usage of looking, seeing and knowing is temporary. Therefore, there must be a conclusion to purify with this usage of looking, seeing and knowing simultaneously. Step back to disengage from itself thoroughly. To be obsessed by using the mind only, there will be just mental karma and its results further and further. Even using ahosi, without the conclusion of Nirodha and Nibbana, there will be new karma. It just decreased temporarily. But without the conclusion of Nirodha and Nibbana thoroughly, without stepping back to disengage on its own, then the cycle of purification of the extinction and emptiness will not happen, because new karma will be arising again and again. Therefore, with everything, there must be a conclusion of the essence of cutting on its own, cutting deluded knowing, disengage from disengaging itself thoroughly. That is the mind that doesn't take in the mind. The state of mind, conditions and dharma don't take in themselves. This is helping through the cutting deluded knowing very well with everything. This is not discarding samsara, instead helping through discarding on its own for samsara. Everything is discarding on its own. To discard something that is not helping at all. Helping through liberation, through purification of extinction and emptiness has to be on its own. Proceed simultaneously with the essence. There's a lot of desire which is off-sided. Even a tiny bit within the mind is already off-sided by the desire. We have to step back, constantly stepping back to disengage from disengaging itself, non-attachments on its own. All the mind taking itself, taking things into account is the attributes of the desire, is the attributes of samsara, is the attributes of suffering and the causes of suffering actually. Is the attribute that is circling in itself, which is the attributes of samsara. Letting go is on its own. Everything is letting go on its own. Everything is non-attachment on its own. This will be without flaw. Let's be thorough with the essence. Do the role of the great compassion completely, fully. Then there will be effect internally and externally instantaneously, which is the result of the blessing. Through the purification of the extinction and the emptiness, it is not karma, instead it's purifying karma. Purification of the extinction and the emptiness is the result of the great compassion. It's not the result of karma. It's not a behavior. Not behavior of karma. Stepping back from the stepping back itself. Give up the giving up itself. Letting go of the letting go itself is not considered as karma. It's not a behavior of karma. However, it affects to purify karma. This has nothing to do with letting go or not. Be thorough with it. Disengage even from itself. It doesn't grasp itself. Step back. Keep the eyes and ears open so that they will be beneficial for both internally and externally altogether, purifying through the emptiness and extinction altogether. Helping through unwinding, through releasing. Proceed simultaneously with everything. No grasping is on its own. Stepping back with the essence of no grasping on its own with everything. Why stepping back? Because there is the grasping mind. There is the desire that is taken into account. The delusive attachment, delusion is taken into account. Therefore, there must be a stepping back, even to the stepping back itself, without grasping the stepping back itself. No grasping is on its own. Stepping back. With these, there will be constant purification of the emptiness. Not to be obsessed, to circle around with mindfulness, concentration, contemplation, meditative power, special insight and wisdom, this and that, on and on. This is just being fixated to the made-up Dhamma. Not aligned with the purification of the extinction and the emptiness. This is just fixated, deludedly fixated to the made-up things. Do the role of the great compassion. This will be the power to cut through deluded knowing altogether. Let there be multiple times of great compassion, helping with the brightness, which is the result of the great compassion. Those who are flawless will multiply the brightness, and power of the blessing will be immensely. The power to purify through the emptiness and the extinction will be immensely. This is the diligence in blessing, in the great compassion that is sharing. Diligently use the essence and conclude through Nirodha and Nibbana, letting go on its own. Disengage on its own. This is diligence to share the great compassion, to conclude towards ending, to purify samsara. A lot of stepping back. If you have a lot of enjoyment, step back much more to disengage on its own completely. Keep the eyes and ears open as usual. Keep all the gates of perceptions opening as usual. Stepping back though, to disengage completely from itself. Stepping back completely from itself. No grasping on its own completely. This will be the mighty force that is automatic to purify through the emptiness and extinction. Keep the eyes and ears and gates of perceptions which already made up and manifested. They are like ambassadors of Nirodha and Nibbana. It's not just the ambassador of karma and its result. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body and mind are not just the ambassadors of karma. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body and mind are not the ambassadors just for the desire, delusion and delusive attachment. Projecting, aiming forward, this and that. These are the ambassadors of karma. Let the same eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body and mind be the ambassadors of Nirodha and Nibbana thoroughly instead. Don't circle around with just good karma or bad karma. Circling with just karma is not good. Don't be the ambassadors of karma only. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, mind. Let them be the ambassadors of the conclusion of Nirodha and Nibbana thoroughly. There are no complications at all, with everything stepping back to disengage from itself, stepping back from itself completely. That's all. That's all about the non-attachment. It's unlike the practice for attainment. Just stepping back with the essence of letting go on its own, enabled for that. It's not about give up something or trying to let go of something, able to give up on its own, letting go on its own. There is not much in regards to the non-attachment. Just enable to step it back, to disengage on its own. The essence of the enlightenment, there is not much here. Just cut through itself. Cutting is on its own. Disengage on its own. Without disengaging, there is no cutting. So stepping back to disengaging from itself. Cutting within the cutting itself. Then the great compassion will be shared automatically. This is not just cutting, helping through cutting for samsara as well. For all realms of existence, all the Dharma that has been fixated upon, instead of burdening and fixated upon all the karma in all realms of existence from all periods of time, ahosi, ahosi, ahosi.